you going to demonstrate? Okay. At this point, the refugees will do 3 half prostrations, or even 1/4 prostrations, depending on your physical condition. And Rochelle is going to demonstrate first a 1/4 prostration. You just bend from the waist. The prostrations, what you're doing is you're surrendering your. Oh, sorry. Is this on now? Okay. You're surrendering your ego, and you're surrendering your ego to the Buddha, to the Dharma, and to the Sangha, the 3 jewels. These are called in Buddhism. And when you do prostrations, you start out by touching your, just your forehead, I think. Remember? Forehead, your throat, and then your chest. And that represents the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And then you prostrate. Now, there are full prostrations, but we're not going to do that. This is a 3/4 prostration, where you bend down with your hands and you touch your forehead to the floor. And if you have difficulty doing that, you can just do, and then you come and you do that again. You can just do a 1/4 prostration, where you just bend from the waist, like that. Okay? So would everybody rise, and you're doing this to the shrine and to the preceptor as the representative of the lineage. The lineage goes back to the Buddha himself in India and all the people in between. Okay? So you're surrendering your ego to the Buddha, to the Dharma, and to the Sangha, and then you bow. Good, there's one. Okay. You can resume your seats. Thank you. The lineage is proud and grateful, speaking for the lineage. All the teachers going from us back through Tibet. Marpa was the first Tibetan in our lineage, the Kagyu lineage. And before him, a slew of Indian people who achieved enlightenment, all the way back to the Buddha himself. Now, we're going to actually take refuge, and again, it's a matter of what you can do physically. You either, if you need to, you can remain seated. Otherwise, you kneel, and you can kneel on one knee or both knees with your hands in Anjali. And then we're going to take refuge, and I'll lead the refuge. I'll say each line, and you repeat after me, and we're going to go through it 3 times. So are you going to stay seated, do you think? Okay. So, is everybody kneeling? Okay. Our hands are in Anjali. When you do Anjali, they're not flat, they're slightly cupped. Yeah, like you're holding it like a lotus, exactly. So I'll repeat the first line and you repeat after me, and we'll go through it 3 times. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. And that, with the finger snap, is the transmission of the lineage to you. You've all got it. So please have a seat. So I'm going to give a very brief talk. That's the charge at this point. And this is on the effect of the refuge ceremony. And this is on the change in attitude, the change in mark, and the change in name. To some degree this is real, and to some degree this is aspirational. But basically, by becoming a Buddhist, and you're all Buddhists now, you've received the lineage transmission, part of it is, you're going to do meditation practice. You've already been doing it, but you're going to do more for longer. And one of the effects of meditation practice is that it makes you much more gentle and kind. And the way in which it does that is, you see, you're sitting with your own mind. And the idea is that what you're giving up is self-improvement. The idea of improving yourself. You're giving up that kind of aggression towards yourself that says, the aggression says, I'm lacking, I need to be better. And in fact, when you sit in meditation, you're sitting with just what you are. That's what the tools, the techniques are for. So you watch the breath in one way or another, and when thoughts come, you just see them. And as soon as you see them, you're not in them anymore. See, there are only two ways to be in a thought, to relate to thought. Either you're lost in it, like you're having a dream and you're having this argument with somebody and you're just completely absorbed in it, as you would be in a movie, let's say. Or, as soon as you know that you're thinking, well, at that point you've woken up from the dream. And you don't have to do anything with it. You accept it. You accept the fact that you were thinking. So you're developing a kindness to yourself. And in fact, if you ever do a program, as some people here have done, where you sit for an extended period of time, you might sit for a week with a group, and you sit all day, every day, more or less, in alternate periods of sitting and walking in meditation with breaks for meals and a work period and so forth. And you're sitting a lot. And the way in which you do that is by being kind to yourself, by just relaxing. If you're hard on yourself, sitting is very difficult. Then it becomes very hot. But when you are easy on yourself, kind to yourself, you're teaching yourself a kind of gentleness, loving kindness. And then if you can do it with yourself, you will find that you do it with the rest of the world as well, with other people. So it spreads from you to the world. And that's really the main mark of becoming a Buddhist, is developing that kind of kindness to yourself, which then can spread to the rest of the world. Another thing that you're doing is, in your practice and study and practice, there are three kinds of tools that you have for treading the path. There's meditation practice, there is study of the teachings, and there is contemplation. Contemplation is where you take the things that you've learned through study and you find them in your own experience, sooner or later. And basically there are two kinds of things that you study. You study your neurotic mind so that you can identify it and let it go. And you study your enlightened mind so that you can recognize it when you practice it. So you're giving up really aggression and passion. Aggression and passion are both ways in which we manipulate our experience. With aggression, whatever element of our experience we don't want, we try to get rid of it. And with passion, whatever aspect of our experience we think bolsters us, we want to draw it to us and consume it, eat it, make it part of us. And really what we're doing, each one of those is a distortion. It represents a laying of our ego on the world and on ourselves, depending on what we're doing it with. So we are giving that up, and instead we're just seeing the world as it is, with a kind of kindness and respect that doesn't tamper or doesn't manipulate. It's simply clear seeing with an open mind. The change of mark is that once you begin to behave with non-aggression, you show the signs of the sanity that's already in you. That means that you start to act, you start to see the world much more clearly, sort of stripped of your judgments of good and bad. And it changes the way in which you respond to the world and act in the world. You become much smarter, really, and less idiosyncratic. And you're very polite and considerate to the people around you. And you maybe even go out of your way to be polite and considerate. It's really amazing. We're so lost in our neurotic thoughts that we miss all kinds of opportunities to be kind to people around us. And when we start consciously practicing kindness to the people in our world, we get it back. It's really delightful, you know. You can actually become friends with people that you just meet on the street, or who's your cab driver, or the person who's selling you something in a convenience store. And maybe you'll never see them again, but for that minute, there was an act of kindness and openness and gentleness and friendship that could pass between you. And your world begins to really become much more enlightened and much more friendly and enjoyable to be in. So this is the mark. This gentleness and sympathy is the mark of becoming a Buddhist. And I'm just reading what Trungpa Rinpoche said. It is possible, if one's sitting practice and discipline are taking place, that one's personality could change from that of painful, serious, deep down level of neurosis into something open, sharp, profound, and delightful. And finally, there's the change of name. And you're all going to receive a refuge name. And you can use this as your name, or not, as you choose. I have friends who go by their refuge names, although they're probably fewer in number than those who don't, but it's completely up to you. And the point is that when you're called by your Buddhist name, you should assume that particular attitude of gentleness that Buddhism represents. It's that your name is a reminder. And it doesn't, rather than providing sort of a boost to your ego, like I've got this holy name, it's reminding you to be gentle and kind, and really to give up your egotism and be there for other people. And finally, your Buddhist name is a kind of message. It represents encouragement of your development on the path and your personality, which is connected with the practice of meditation. So there's some sense of your individual style in approaching the Dharma that's conveyed in your name. Okay? So that's attitude, mark, and name, which changes when you become a Buddhist. So now I'm going to ask that you come up and receive your refuge names. And the way Sarah is going to come up first, and the way you do this before you come, is that you'll come up and I'll be holding this certificate, and we'll both bow to each other like this. You'll bow in Anjali, and I'll bow holding the certificates. I'll hand you the certificate. You hold the certificate, and we'll bow once more. I'll be in Anjali. And then you'll come over and you'll bow to the shrine, and then go back and take your seat. Okay? So Sarah, I'll just call out the names. Why don't I do it that way? So you can just start right here. Okay. Okay. Okay, now you bow to the shrine. Matthew Rain. Becca Karamatsu. Mike Rubio. I'm going to take this off. Marina Tamliani. Joe Hepworth. Yes. Wonderful. Oh, that's terrific. Thank you, Alan. Okay. So now I'm tasked with doing a little blessing. This is where I get to have some fun. Enjoyment of the glory of long life, insightful mind, discriminating prajna, and so on, whatever richness there is in samsara and nirvana, may the goodness of all these spontaneously be present. May your body be blessed with the goodness of the 3 robes of a bhikshu. May your speech be blessed with the goodness of the Tripitaka. May your mind be blessed with the goodness of the 3 trainings. May your 3 gates be blessed with the goodness of these 3 disciplines. May the 80,000 kinds of obstructing spirits be pacified. May there be freedom from harmful defects and discord. And with harmonious and abundant goodness, may excellent well-being be present here and now. May any sentient being suffering from disease be quickly liberated from disease. May all diseases of beings without exception never arise. Not committing any evil deeds whatsoever, performing abundant virtue, taming one's mind, these are the teachings of the Buddha. Brilliant on the neck of Upper White Snow Mountain, the sun rays of Longchen Rabjam Sangpo, he was a great teacher, cause the lotus minds of fortunate ones to blossom. May his liberating environment always shine. So now we'll do the closing chant. I should get it.
On behalf of New York Buddha Dharma and the Sangha, we'd like to thank performing the Refuge ceremony, the first of many to come in our Sangha. And I can just see Trungpa Rinpoche sitting right on top of your head, and he's smiling and he's very, very happy. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. Okay. By this merit, may all attain omniscience. May it defeat the enemy wrongdoing from the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. From the ocean of samsara, may I free all beings. By the confidence of the golden sun of the great East, may the lotus garden of the Rigdon's wisdom bloom. May the dark ignorance of sentient beings be dispelled. May all beings enjoy profound, brilliant glory. Wonderful. So now we have a reception.